Sup dudes, it's Wulzy. Welcome back to Geometry Dash. Today we are going to be playing Postscript by Genericqueso. I've already got 85% on it because I'm a noob and I forgot to press record. This level is very interesting. It's got a nice theme. It was entered to Viprin's creator contest a little while ago and it's been finished off since then. Continues the theme very nicely and overall it's just a very solid level. So, I'm going to play it with my regular player colours first, because this is how I would normally get my first impression of it. Obviously it is player colours, so it can have a different sort of interpretation based on which player colours you're using, because the song, it can have a variety of emotions to it. If you're playing with blue, it could feel sad, because this song might feel nostalgic to some, but if you're playing with red, if you're playing with red, it could feel quite angry, just because of the way that it kicks in. The music is very intense. You know, it could have a variety of feels to it depending on what kind of colours you're using at the time. So I'm using yellow at the minute. This feels very happy, feels very bright and intense. We're about to get to the cool part with the enlarging squares. Nice use of the scaling effect there. There's lots of different effects that make up each part, mainly done by masking, and I feel like the black space is done very well as it helps build the theme. You've got the black space in the block and you've got the black space in the background, yet you can still differentiate between each element individually, which is really good and essential for a level of this difficulty. Got some nice unique movement here, and the big rotating orb pillar things, and there you go, that is the level. Feels very, very full, despite the lack of a colour range. So the first thing I'm interested to see is how it looks with double white. I want to see how the black and white contrasts. Now the pulses are less exaggerated here, they just look like regular pulses. Right, this is completely black and white now. It feels old, it feels kind of washed out. Feels like it's retelling an old story. Hi guys, it's Editing Wulzy. This black and white colour scheme is very effective in unison with the song. It kind of fits in because it sounds like an outro, and a black and white colour scheme with this sort of atmosphere created with the pulses and movements feels very cool, and it feels like you're on a mission in a way. Maybe to restore the full feeling in the level or something, since the atmosphere is only half there as it's missing the colours. Maybe this interpretation is just a stretch, but I do like how the level means something different with an alternate colour scheme though, and the song choice is very, very good for this. Nice stuff. Black and white doesn't look that bad. I was expecting it to look a lot worse, but there are elements of the design that ease in the contrast, such as the slightly less opaque backgrounds that surround the object. Now I'm going to try and go for a different sort of colour scheme. I'm going to go red and blue. I want to see what that looks like. Just experiment with the different colours and how it affects the mood. Now this looks quite strange, but for the most part, each colour scheme that I've tried out has went very well. I like that these dots in the background are moving with the player, gives that little bit of dynamic deco. Looks quite good, and this transition is pretty basic, but it works quite well. Okay, so these pulses are a bit strange. It feels a bit contrasting since red and blue are obviously so different. Alright, so I'm going to use sort of a generic colour scheme now, just to see how the average player might see this level, and I'll pick up on some extra details that I noticed due to the different colours instead of just using double yellow. Now I feel like there's a bit of empty space between the blocks, but it kind of works because there's the overlay on the side at the beginning, and there's also like the dotted details and the saws and the blocks that could make any deco that's in between look quite congested if it was there. So I think Queso's made a good call not to include anything. There could have been an effect to go alongside the borders on the side. The first player colour isn't really used in this part. I feel like there could be some elements that use it. But anyway, it's a pretty clean transition to the next part. Quite basic, but it's well done. Doesn't look awkward at all. Perfectly fits in. I keep jumping at that UFO, but something about that transition that just doesn't sit well. I must say I like the variety of structures throughout the entire level. There isn't really many basic sort of pillars. In this part we've got like the staggered blocks, which look pretty nice. In the next UFO part we've got, well, you can even call this a UFO. In this part, there's the spike structures that like stick out and have the big pillars in between, which make it a bit more unique. And then in the next part, there are the scaling blocks. So this level stands out to me because of that. There's no like pillar blocks, and everything is built in together, which makes it feel a lot more cool than it would if it was just pillars. This is all connected together, as you can see. I keep falling for that fake because I'm an idiot. This level's got me going into bloody mega hack. Jeez, man. I like the dotted arrow decoration with the box around. The pulses are very well worked into it. Looks very good. And here we go back into this part. There's a couple of moving particles that fit in quite well. It's a good use of glow. Like, this level isn't glowy at all, but those glow pieces actually sit really well for some reason. And then we've got a lot of... Oh, I've just broke the level. See, there's a lot of layers that work well with each other. That transition's kind of empty, but it looks cool once it actually comes in. Just maybe it could have like an indicator or something just to fill in the space a bit more. Again, there's not much decoration in here, but the structures are varied once again, which keeps it alive, keeps it feeling fresh and changing all the way through. And some nice, there's a cool mask on here. There's like a searchlight sort of thing going on with the ball. It's kind of like a regular mask that makes the decoration on the same level as the player light up, which is pretty cool. The only problem with it is that it creates like an uneven balance of deco, because then in some areas there will be decoration that's highlighted on the same row as the player, but in turn this also leaves black spaces, so it kind of feels inconsistent in the decoration in that part, but it's a pretty cool effect. The ground spikes are animated as well, something that's pretty nice to see. It's not very often you see some moving ground spikes. Normally they're just sort of moving slower than the player and that's it, but Queso's done that well. There's also a lot of custom borders due to the links made between structures. I keep hitting that orb. Jeez. Here we see the moving ground spikes again. Pretty good. I just love those like arms of orbs that are all connected together. That's really cool. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's just a very clean level with a consistent theme, almost consistent decoration. I mean, the first part is not very decorated at all. As I was saying earlier, there is the gap between the blocks that isn't decorated at all, but in the middle you've got those overlays where the cube goes, and it's quite full, so it's quite inconsistently decorated, but it's almost there. It's almost there. Each part still feels unique while it's doing this though, so I gotta forgive. I love that you stuck with the theme while keeping each part memorable individually. Epic, dude. Boom! There we go. I brought back the yellow icons, by the way. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. There will be more videos like this on the way as soon as some big levels that I can actually talk about in detail come out that people will be interested in. So, I'll see you then. That was a dead click. Let me do it properly. There we go.